Hello, friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster. And Penny, today we are talking about something that I got a switch flipped where I was like, I don't know enough about that thing, even though I like that thing.
Yeah, sometimes you do. You're like, I gotta know more about this.
I gotta find out more. And so this came from, shameless self-plug, my Parlor Talk episode with Andrew Fuller. We talked about him owning pet leeches. And this, I have always been fascinated by leeches. I blame series of unfortunate events. And I have always been very obsessed with the beautiful apothecary leech jars. But I didn't know a lot about their actual history in medicinal use. And so we are going to explore that a little bit today. I learned some wild facts researching for this one that I'm really excited to share with you.
I'm excited.
So, first of all, obviously, though, what's a leech, Penny?
It's a little brown slug thing that sucks your blood.
It's a little worm guy. So the leeches belong to a group of segmented worms that are called annelids.
Okay.
And there are, I did not know that, more than 700 species of leech.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of leeches worldwide. But a surprisingly small number of those actually are bloodsuckers.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I think, all think of them as such.
100%.
But the species most associated with bloodsucking and specifically medicinal use are aptly named Hirudo medicinalis, the medicinal leech.
All right, there you go.
And they are remarkably evolved for feeding. The adaptations they have made to feed are really, really cool. So they have two suckers on each end, one on each end of the body, and the smaller sucker up front is kind of what we think of when you think of a leech bite. It has jaws with tiny teeth that make that distinctive Y-shaped incision that we picture when we think of a leech bite. And while they are feeding, they also are kind of injecting you with their saliva, which contains dozens of biologically active compounds. These little guys are scientifically astounding. But one of the most interesting things here in their saliva is hirurin, which is a powerful anticoagulating agent that prevents blood from clotting. There is some debate about whether or not some people will say that that leech saliva has pain reducing chemicals in it. There are a lot of people that argue that is in their biology, but does not actually go into the person they are biting. But I have not ever been bitten by a leech, but there are a lot of people who say when it happens, they do not feel it.
Okay.
Now, whether that just be that they got teensy teeth,
Yeah, true.
or that they have a pain reducing element, we are not certain.
Who's to say?
But what we do know is that when they bite, those chemicals in their saliva widen blood vessels and cause platelet aggregation, allowing the blood to continue flowing even after the leech has detached from you. That area can continue to kind of bleed for quite a while. Leeches famously, I don't know, when I think of leeches in media, in literature, in anything, there's this kind of idea of them swarming and attacking. They can sustain off of one feeding for months. So they are not eating super frequently.
Yeah.
And they don't really swarm like that, though they are very sensitive to vibration in water and heat sensory, kind of like a shark or anything like that. They can detect
or the predator.
chemicals. Yeah.
Just like the predator.
Totally. Totally. And then they can also sense like chemicals from skin in water, and that helps them find who they're gonna
Move for a little slorp.
But I think it's easy to see with all these qualities about them why physicians and people became fascinated by them. We know that the use of leeches and other other forms of bloodletting go back at least 2,500 years. There are even to the pre that, like, there's paintings in Egyptian tombs that depict bloodletting procedure. It's a very old practice. But to understand like why this particular thing became so popular, what you need to know is, I think most people learned this in school, but one of the biggest like what's the word I want? Developments in medical history was the theory of the four humors.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So primarily Hippocrates, but the Greeks in general, and then later in the 2nd century, the physician and surgeon Galen, they believed that the human body contained 4 essential fluids that needed to be in perfect balance in order for people to remain healthy. Those fluids being phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, and blood. And any illness that you came to contract was kind of believed to be the result of one of these things being either too much or not enough.
Got your humors out of balance.
Got those humors out of balance. But they really, I mean, they were all important, but the blood was really the focus a lot of the time. You have a fever, get the blood out of there.
Bad blood.
You got a headache, get the blood out of there. You got a skin condition, get the blood out of there. Too much blood.
Well, I mean, I feel like that makes sense because blood is like the easiest to access.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Where am I going to get your black bile from?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like one poke and it's like, yep, I got plenty of this and it's coming out right now.
Right. And yeah, totally logical by their like understanding of medicine at the time. So their, of course, yeah, like Penny just said, their best guess was, well, let's get rid of some of it if it's causing an issue. So bloodletting was not specific to leeches. It could be performed just with like a knife, or there were special tools, instruments called lancets that were like a not double-sided, but blade on either side of the knife situation. They could stick into the vein. But as you can imagine, leeches offered certain advantages here. They removed the blood slowly rather than you just slicing into somebody's veins and trying to best guess how much they were gonna bleed. They were also favored for delicate areas of the body. Anytime they would be using these like around the face, on the eyes, the mouth, there are records of them putting people's like leeches inside people's throats for drainage.
I was gonna say I'm trying to be pretty pro leech here, but inside the throat is a hard stop for me.
Well, to be fair, that's not the leech's fault.
No, it is not the leech's fault. The leech didn't want to be in. That's why I'm like, I'm cool with you, leeches, but it stops at my mouth. Like,
yeah,
no more of that.
No entrez-vous, yeah. And because of, as we mentioned, the anticoagulating agent in the saliva, the bleeding would also continue after they were detached. So that's also, in this case, a positive because it means more total blood removed from the body. Obviously, by our modern standards, a lot of these ideas are ineffective and even harmful. But like we said, within their understanding at the time of what was what they believed to be happening, this was an incredible advancement for them. So as medicine continued to develop and we get into the Middle Ages, leeches become firmly established in European healthcare. This is like the thing TM. Now this is something I can't wait to talk to you about, Penny. Ooh. And you seem like a kind of bitch that already knows this, so just ride with me.
All right, I'm ready.
Because of what we are outside of spooky people, I was like, I can't believe I didn't know this because of another thing. But because a lot of physicians in the Middle Ages were more like academic types or like philosophers turned surgeons or physicians, a lot of them considered any type of like invasive surgery to be beneath them or like barbaric and didn't partake in it. So, who do we already have in the community who's good with a sharp blade? It's the barbers!
It's the barbers!
So barber surgeons becomes a
Yes.
legitimate profession that people have. And they're for all your self-care needs, combining your grooming needs with your surgical procedures.
You know, a little self-care day.
Exactly, a spa day. So you can get your leeching, your bloodletting done. You can get a tooth extraction. You can get an amputation or a cauterization right there at the barber.
Also shave your beard.
And give you a little trim. And this was the part that I was like, what? I had no idea that this was true. This is where the barbered pole design comes from.
It's true.
How did I get this far in life without knowing this? But yes, so the original barber pole design featured a like brass wash basin at the top that represented the vessel where the leeches were kept, and then the bottom representing the basin that received the blood, and the pole itself was like the staff that the patient would grip to encourage blood flow. Just some casual bloodletting at the barber shop.
Yep.
This in Renaissance Amsterdam is where like the color stripes start really becoming a thing that indicate red is we're ready to bleed the patients. White stripes we're here for setting bones or pulling teeth. And a blue is if you need a shave, okay, fine.
Sure, I guess.
If I don't have important surgery that day,
if you insist.
I can shave you. But again, and now I return to the top of this. I was like, well, suddenly Sweeney Todd is making a lot more sense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's why I was like, I can't believe I didn't know that just from that. From being a theater kid.
Dubious barber.
Yeah. He is, in a way, I was going to say, he is, in a way, performing surgery.
He is. Unrequested surgery.
Sweeney Todd. But unlike the more intense practices that the barber surgeons were partaking in, leeches in general were accepted by the more learned medicine community as well. And, again, this is kind of, I think, what a lot of people think of are these beautiful, like, apothecary jars full of leeches. Apothecaries were stocking them. Our good old monks from the Poison Garden episode, they were documenting practices of using leeching for medicinal purposes. Physicians are prescribing them like they're a drug, like, oh, take 5 leeches and call me in the morning. And around this time, too, like, households even will start keeping small jars of leeches at home, like emergency Tylenol.
Sure, I'm going to say, like your little first aid kit.
We got the leeches on deck, just in case. And the popularity reaches an extraordinary height during the 18th and 19th centuries, so much so that this period often is called Leech Mania.
Leech Mania!
Woo!
I love it.
Another great band name.
Truly.
You know what? Small like detour here. I was talking the other day to Devin and I was like, do Penny and I need to make like a sticker sheet for Ghouls Night, like as merch that is all the different things we've said great band name in different like metal fonts? I think that would be really funny.
That would be so funny.
If you guys would like that, let us know.
Or we could do like a music festival poster.
Music fest. Oh my god.
Bands.
We should talk to Wonder Witch. She would do such a good job with that. She does a lot of like festival art.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, if that's something you guys
let us know if you want that.
If you want Leech Mania merch, let me. But the height of this comes from the French physician. Get ready for a great name, Francois Joseph Victor Brousset.
Hell yeah!
3 first names. Francois Joseph Victor Brousset. Becomes one of the leading advocates of aggressive leeching and bloodletting. Like, he is not just like, let's take a little of the blood out. He believed that, which I will say, I think he was onto something here. He believed that inflammation was the cause of almost all disease, which I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, he's not far off.
He's in like the ballpark. He's just in the wrong seating zone. Yeah. Because then, of course, his further hypothesis is, well, if we just remove the blood, that'll fix it.
I do love that he's like, no, I've got a new concept for why, but the answer is still get rid of that leeches.
Still leeches. So his influence spreads very quickly throughout Europe, and the demand for leeches explodes. Hospitals are like going through leeches like it's going out of style. Individual patients are getting anywhere from like at minimum a dozen leeches per treatment. But Broussais, he's like 50 at a time, 90 at a time, just like crazy amounts of leeches. France alone reportedly imported tens of millions of leeches every year.
Oh my God.
And so, as you can imagine, entire like regional economies develop around the supply and demand of leech trade.
Wow.
And that is what brings us to my second favorite fact I learned during this: the profession that emerges of leech collector. This is both like, it's not funny, but it's so funny to me. So leech collectors are exactly what they sound like. They work in the areas where there are wetlands, ponds, marshes, what have you. All throughout Britain, France, Germany, Ireland, Eastern Europe, they are all up in these marshes. And sometimes they would drive like horse or cattle into shallow water and wait for the leeches to get on the livestock, and then they would remove the leeches from the animals. But demand is, as we mentioned, continually increasing, and livestock is expensive and not readily available, especially as a lot of these leech collectors are people that are living in poverty. They don't always have access to cattle or things like that. So what do? You use yourself as bait.
So you dunk yourself in a pond.
You pull up your trousers. So yeah, a lot of them just, this is honestly the more common thing, is that they are using themselves and just walking barefoot with exposed legs through the marshes and collecting as many leeches as they could. Now, as you can imagine, not only is this like unpleasant, but it came with a variety of long-term issues for these folks. A being repeat exposure to excessive blood loss. Because they're doing this, days in a row. And as we mentioned earlier, the leech bites are such that they continue bleeding after the leech is removed. So a lot of these people develop severe anemia and are unable to further work after that. Also, they're in fresh, pond water. And probably, if you're working multiple days in a row, re-entering with open wounds into pond water, medieval pond water. So lots of severe infections develop, and of course then these people become ill and then they need leeches. The most interesting thing, though, to me, is that most leech collectors were women. This was a female-dominated industry. Women in STEM. But sad also. Lots of women in poverty-stricken situations trying to make something for themselves by damaging their bodies. Sound familiar? Anyway.
Weird.
That's never happened. Again, thankfully. Thankfully, that was the last time.
Yeah, never again.
But they're, as again, we're buying and selling leeches like it's pure gold bars. And outside of the obvious problems with a workforce to collect that many leeches, there was also a growing ecological problem. With millions of leeches being harvested all across Europe, the population of wild leeches is decreasing very rapidly. And unlike fish or insects, medicinal leeches reproduce relatively slowly. Not to mention, as we said earlier, they eat pretty infrequently.
Yeah.
In the wild, they are only feeding once every 3 to 6 months and can survive for up to a year between meals. So you couldn't use the same leech over and over.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, you shouldn't anyway, but they didn't know that yet.
No, yeah, they didn't know about that.
There were other reasons, but that's not why in this scenario. But so by the middle of the 19th century, we have come up with a complete shortage of leeches. Mm-hmm. Countries start introducing restrictions on collection and trading of them, and places where there had once been abundant populations are just effectively completely useless and exhausted now. Of course, around this time also, physicians are starting to question the effectiveness of this method, because we've started actually observing and documenting our results about medicinal practices and realizing patients are not only not consistently improving, but many of them are becoming dramatically worse. And we also, in 1878, get a good old guy by the name of Louis Pasteur, who discovers bacteria and establishes germ theory and is like, hey, what you're doing isn't even the problem. And, of course, him and Robert Koch's work kind of lays the ground for modern microbiology. And by the end of the 19th century, bloodletting has basically completely fallen out of favor. Very few places still practicing it. We're understanding penicillin and things that, we need to actually protect people who are ill. But what is interesting is that this is not the end of the leech in the medical world. They did a reunion tour. Leech Mania did a reunion tour.
Leech Mania, the remake.
The rebound.
Reboot.
In 2004, they get approved by the FDA to be back in business, and surgeons discovered they could use them for healing microsurgery. So when you're dealing with things like reconnecting a severed finger, for instance, they can do a lot of work on tiny arteries and things, but reconnecting tiny veins that carry the blood back out of said appendage, that can prove to be a lot more difficult. And if blood can't leave an area, obviously pressure builds and congestion, and the tissue can die from that. If only we had a way to remove blood.
Hey!
In a controlled fashion.
It's finally time to remove the blood.
It's finally actually what needs to happen. Yay!
Yay. Leeches are this is my moment.
The people are cheering for an encore. Leeches are like, yeah! So yes, leeches are back, and they are frequently used in reconstructive plastic surgery following reattachment of things like ears, noses, lips. Also, they can be used to save compromised skin graft issues. Okay. So modern medicinal leeches, of course, are bred under highly controlled lab conditions. They are not being
walk through the pond and see what latches on.
We're not harvesting them on the legs of poor women. Yeah. But they are bred, and they are single use. They are disposed of as medical biohazard waste. But when an area on the body has congested tissue, they can remove that pooled blood and inject that anticoagulating agent. So the area will continue to bleed after the leech detaches, and this acts as a temporary drainage system for the tissue. So this technique is called hydrotherapy, from the word for leech, obviously. And it's oftentimes used as kind of a last resort to salvage tissue, but it has very high reported success rates. So it is definitely still something being used in medicine today. So the next time you think about calling someone a leech as an insult, just remember these guys rock. They're doing great things. They're helping people.
And they're pretty chill.
They are. And that's, looking again, of course, is there a chance you're going to go in a freshwater area and get leeched? Sure. But
get leeched.
Get leeched. But I hope that also like helps bust some misconceptions about like how often they feed and things like they're not. If a leech is on you, it's not like you're gonna be attacked by 5,000 leeches. That's not. And if you just let it like do its thing, it'll come off. It'll be fine. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not poisonous. I mean, I guess I don't know if there are zero poisonous leeches. So I'm not a leech professional. Let's just. I do not. Ghouls Night In does not accept any responsibility for your leech handling activities.
This is not medical advice.
Do not.
We are not doctors.
Do not go seek a leech. But they're overall pretty cool little guys. They're not like trying to hurt anybody. They're just feeding.
They just want a little drink, a little sippy.
They need their next snack to get them through the next 3 to 6 months, and then they're gonna go vibe. But yeah, that is leeches. They're pretty freaky little guys. I
love that, Midge. I do have to. Can I tell you something?
Please.
Which is that we almost had a convergence today because when I was seeing some friends on Friday, played a game called Trust Me, I'm a Doctor, which is basically apples to apples, but with weird medieval medicine. So you have ailment cards and cure cards with things like children's morphine and exorcism, and I'm sure leeches. And you play an ailment card, and then everyone at the table has to prescribe a cure for you from their cards, and you judge and select which cure you'll be taking. And I was almost like, I should do like a historic medicine episode for this week, but I had already started working on mine, so I was like, no. And then as soon as you were like leeches, I was like, oh my god, brains connected across the way as usual.
You can bring it next time, and we'll just keep delving, because gosh, there's sure a lot there.
Oh, there really is.
Leeches are barely scratching the surface of, literally. Thank you all for listening. I hope that you learned something interesting about leeches today. And if you or someone you know has been bitten by a leech or had a pet leech, let me know. It's really interesting to me. I didn't really, like I said, my sole knowledge of these comes from a children's book before now. So this was very, very fascinating. If you would like to suggest other weird medical topics for us to talk about, a great place to do that is on our Discord channel. We have all other kinds of discussions on there as well, from Halloween decor hunting to what media you're partaking in to what you're wearing, what kind of style you're jazzing on these days. But it's a really fun community. We got a lot of great ghouls over there. And there is a specific channel to recommend topics for us. So you can head over there in our show notes or in the link in our Instagram bio. And if you would like to leave us a rating or a review wherever you listen, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, or you can leave us comments on Spotify. Or, of course, always you can send those to our Instagram DMs and we will read them here. But I think Penny has a Spotify comment to share with us today.
I do. This is one that just really cracked me up, so I had to share it. This is from our Repo, the Genetic Opera episode.
Absolutely.
From Lizzie C., who says, flashback to 2008, UK. I'm working in Blockbuster, and we have one copy of this movie, which I recommend to all my regulars, and they all complain to me about it when they bring it back. Which is truly the Repo experience. I read that and I was like, yup, that sounds about right. Also, man, I miss Blockbuster.
I just drove past the place where ours used to be the other day, and I shed a tear.
Yes.
I was like, what I wouldn't give to walk through the aisles right now.
Truly, truly.
Well, just to be clear, I would have loved it if you had recommended it to me. So those people were lame, and they don't get you or us, and they can't sit with us.
They can't hang.
Well, thank you so much for that. And if you would like to follow along with the podcast, you can follow us over on Instagram at Ghouls Night in Pod. And if you're looking for me, I am all over the web at Midge Munster.
And you can find me at Penny Snark.
And until next time, good.